It's the internet, you're busy, let's do this for November 30th, 2022. For the next hour or so, let me help you sort through the world of gaming on Game Mess Mornings Live with me, Jeff Grubb. Today, Giant Bomb is hooked on the brothers, and Nintendo is hooked on messing with the Smash community. But first, please join me in welcoming today's co-host to Game Mess Mornings. It's Lucy James from Giant Bomb, everybody. Lucy, how are you doing?
I'm doing well, thank you. Happy Spotify Rap Day to all who celebrate.
It is very nice to get all the messages from people like, "Hey, you're in my Wrapped." I'm like, "Oh wow, that's I don't even recognize your name." Like I always feel like I have such a small community from like all the Discord people. It's like, oh no, it goes way beyond that, and that's very satisfying.
It's very sweet. I don't. That's the one thing I don't listen to on Spotify, which is podcasts, and I feel bad because I'm on so many on that platform, but it is very nice. I logged onto Twitter just to tweet out that we were live, and I had a couple tags already for Jeffs and stuff. So I was like, oh.
Yeah, yes, that's it's sweet. Very cool. I wish my podcast. I use Podcast Addict. If any other Podcast Addict users are out there.
Oh no, what do I use? I use Overcast.
Okay, so yeah, that's a popular one too. Yeah, I think I might like go back and look around. Maybe Spotify's got the features I need, but when I first tried to use Spotify for podcast, it didn't fully satisfy my needs as someone who needs podcasts to do anything in his life ever. So yeah,
it's not bad for podcasts, but they went through a phase where they like bought a bunch of exclusives. So for like the besties or heavyweight, you had to go to Spotify, but now it seems a lot of those are kind of up and everywhere else now.
Right,
so.
Now it's just like the biggest heavy hitters though I wasn't listening to anyhow.
The Gimlets of the world.
Yes, Gimlets of the world, exactly. Spotify buying podcasts was always weird. Podcasts were always this kind of outlawish thing where it's like you just put anything out on an RSS feed. There's no rules here. You can...
it's the Wild West.
Yeah, you could totally just play an entire song, and they don't even know how to get to you. They don't even know how to find this at the FCC or whoever looks at that stuff. So... I definitely always appreciated that, and then giant corporations coming in and trying to spoil that was like, weird, but at the same time,
with a 0.001 cents per play or whatever.
Yeah, but people should get paid. I was using Spotify's, now I can't remember the name of the company, but I was using them to distribute my podcast, so they would play ads on Spotify.
Oh, Megaphone.
It's something
Megaphone was one of them.
Yes,
yeah.
And honestly, subsume Anchor. Anchor's the one I used.
Yeah.
And it was like, I got a check from Spotify for $13 last month. So
don't spend it all at once.
I'm like, Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm glad I got off of that. All right, let's get into the mess. But before we do so, we will explain what we do here. Each weekday, I, Jeff Grubb, will help piece your gaming life back together. That includes breaking news and maybe some of our own original reporting. For all these topics, I'll get the input of a bona fide expert who will make me look smart. If you are watching live on Twitch, welcome. Hello, Twitch. You can always listen to the show later on podcast feeds by searching for Game Mess Mornings or find the RSS on giantbomb.com. Shout out to the RSS gang out there. You can also catch the show later with chapters and timestamps on YouTube. Hello, YouTube. Okay, we have a lot to get into, so let's start the morning mess with the first full-length Super Mario Brothers trailer is a full-on Mario Party. This comes from Lane Pitts at GameSpot. The first full Super Mario Brothers trailer is here with all of its Nintendo goodness. We all got our first look at the footage back with the teaser trailer, which received more than its share of criticism, with Mario's voice being, well, exactly what you would imagined it would be. The animated...
Hey, let's go to the Mushroom Kingdom.
Well, let's go. We'll talk about it. The animated film is a collaboration between Nintendo and Illumination and was introduced by the Mario Brothers creator Shigeru Miyamoto and Chris Meledandri, CEO of Illumination. The trailer out now. Everyone can watch it. Everyone probably has watched it. What did you think of the trailer, Lucy?
I thought it was a pretty good trailer. I am one of those people who I just don't like Chris Pratt in general, because I think the problem is that he just plays. Oh,
yeah, sorry that you could hear that. I don't think.
Yeah, I did. I was like, he just plays Chris Pratt.
Yes, he does.
But also, I don't like his. I don't know. He's kind of, isn't he? He's part of like some weird church. And
so it's gone back and forth. He says he's not. He says he's never been to that church.
He's gonna say that.
Yeah, of course he's gonna say that. I think he's kind of a dope. Is kind of where I'm at with it. I want to know less about him. Is where I'm at. Like when he's on screen in Guardians of the Galaxy, I've been fine with him and enjoyed it. Yeah. And then when he shows up in Jurassic World, I'm like, actually, this the oafishness that he brings actually isn't working for me. But whatever, it's a bad movie. Who cares? It never made sense for Mario. It still doesn't make sense. I thought that the first trailer, I thought it was a bad voice. I think it's still bad here. And more people are coming around to that opinion, I think, after here. Okay, here's the big problem. And this isn't necessarily Chris Pratt's fault. In the trailer, he has a couple of lines. He does a wahoo, like Mario does, and he does a let's a go, like Mario does. Let's a go is an Italianism that Charles Martinet does. Right. He is not doing an Italian accent in this movie. He's doing a Brooklyn accent, which actually, obviously, there's a lineage there, but it's not the same thing. Yeah. So a normal man from Brooklyn going, let's a go, is
let's a go.
Weird. It is so, like, that's what he just says to himself for a reason. Like, what's the a go for? I mean, whatever. It's not going to ruin the movie. That trailer looked pretty phenomenal, I thought.
I did too. I think part of the thing that I don't like about Chris Pratt is the overexposure.
Sure, yeah.
I feel like for the past 5 or 6 years or whatever, he has been everywhere, and so part of it is like I'm not the biggest fan of him anyway. He's just everywhere. I could live without seeing another Chris Pratt movie. But the other thing is like how sad it is that Charles Martinet doesn't get to voice possibly the most iconic fictional character of all time after doing so for 30 plus years. Mm-hmm. And like I did see a take yesterday. I think it was Chris Scullion who was like, "Hey, if you didn't like the Chris Pratt voice, but you like all the others, that's kind of a bit weird because all the other voices have changed too." And I totally get that too. I just think the others, especially in this trailer, are doing really good at it. Like, yeah, Charlie Day is a really good choice for Luigi.
I agree.
And I think like Keegan-Michael Key and obviously Jack Black, they just really fit.
Yes.
And yeah, I think the big sticking point is that this is not the Mario voice that we have all grown up with.
Yeah, obviously there's some familiarity there that makes it difficult, but I've seen like similar complaints. So, like, what, you wanted to come out there and do like a full Italian, like, oh, it's the Paolo. It's like, no, we weren't asking. No one wanted that either.
No,
it's just there is a choice where it's like, okay, Charlie Day playing Luigi fits, right? He's got that nervous energy that Luigi's known for. This is an actor that can bring that energy. Mario is, he's known for enthusiasm and be, like, no matter what he's doing, he's excited about it. And I'm not getting that from Chris Pratt. And I think maybe Chris Pratt, you can maybe imagine him doing that. I just think he's doing a bad job. And that's all it is. What he's doing.
Him and his leading role, he's kind of doing like the leading man voice. And I'm like, okay.
But I also get at this point, people are pretty sick and tired of the Chris Pratt discussion. And we're going to watch this movie and probably forget about it. So I keep saying it's true because when I look at this trailer, there's so much going on. There's so much eye candy. Here's the Mad Max scene where you can see Donkey Kong and Funky Kong in the background. They got something here.
I think it's gonna be a great movie. I genuinely think the movie's gonna be good. Like both of the teasers have managed to hit what makes Mario great. They put jokes in there. Yep. Have you seen the Japanese version of this trailer? By the way, I have not.
No, I've not.
It is amazing. It's genuinely
okay. I'll definitely check that out.
It's great. I mean, it's the same trailer, but done in Japanese. But I was talking to Emma from Fandom yesterday, and she was like, "Oh, the guy who plays Mario, it's either Light or L from Death Note." And I was like,
"Oh, cool!
What?
Okay. Very cool."
I am very into this.
Yeah, and I think that's another thing where it's like all of the voices in all the other languages that we've seen have been very good for Mario. But
yes.
Yeah, it's a dense trailer. There's a lot going on. I think that's by design for a trailer where you want to have a lot of stuff that's familiar pop off. I don't think the whole movie, is going to be a Ready Player One, like, every single frame's going to have something to pick out. I think they will have their moments.
Don't bring that up. Oh my God. The thing is the Ready Player One movie was actually kind of okay. I enjoyed it. I had fun, but that book gives me. I have a visceral reaction to that Wikipedia page of a book.
Yes, it's real rough stuff. So I mean, but I think it's a concern when you see a trailer that looks like this that has just kind of nonstop. Every frame is filled with things where you can pick it out and you can make a new story about, here's all the references and Easter eggs in here. I think that they will have that sort of like what we saw in Wreck-It Ralph. Where that the first part of that movie has a lot of that stuff, and then they go on their adventure and build these new characters to do their own thing. I think it'll follow a similar path here, and I'm pretty confident about this movie coming out and just crushing. Right? An Illumination animated film for children. Those movies frequently make about $1 billion. Do you think this movie can do the same?
Oh, easy. Yeah. Although I've already seen the takes of, how long is it gonna be until the Super Mario Brothers movie is gonna be a new franchise in the like just like Despicable Me? And I was like, just let it come out, okay?
Yep.
Can we just have the film come out and then we can enjoy it and then we can talk about sequels and stuff later? It's fine. We don't have to get into the Marvel Star Warsification of every single product of original property.
Yeah, people kind of can't. It's almost human nature. I was gonna say at this point, it feels like maybe forever, but where when we consume something, we don't want it to be. We want a return on that investment. Like we spent our time doing that, so we want. Okay, I've now watched this movie. How is that going to pay forward into the next movie I watch that's connected to all this? And so people just automatically go in that direction. I get it, but I'm with you where it's like we need to get more. We got to get better at just letting things exist on their own first before we immediately. I mean, I'm guilty of this as anyone. I remember God of War Ragnarok coming out, and a lot of my conversations were like, "What do you think this is going to mean for what they do next?" And I bet people who worked on that game and killed themselves over 5 years were furious every time I started talking in that way, and I do not blame them. And so it's like I feel guilty doing that, and I would like to avoid it where possible. Absolutely. But I mean, they are nudging us in that direction with something like this. Super Mario movie features a redesigned Donkey Kong, and Shigeru Miyamoto spent some time talking about it in a way that stood out a little bit. So this comes from Eric Fredrickson.
Oh no, he's hot.
Yes, he's we got a hot Donkey Kong now. Eric Fredrickson at GameSpot. Yeah, he's swole and everything. I'm a big fan. Donkey Kong is one of the very oldest video game characters, born in 1981. Donkey Kong is what some might call a geriatric millennial. Born. Hey, that's how video game characters are created. Shigeru Miyamoto hugs a cartridge really hard, and out pops a baby Donkey Kong. For the upcoming Super Mario Brothers movie, he received his first redesign in almost 30 years for the movie, said creator Shigeru Miyamoto in the latest Nintendo Direct dedicated to the film. The trailer gives us a look at Mario and Luigi and our first look at Donkey Kong himself, voiced by Seth Rogen in the film. Now, I think there's probably a couple reasons why they pointed out that Donkey Kong looks different, because all the characters look at least a little bit different, but they are they're still on spec for what you could expect from those characters generally. Donkey Kong here does look a little bit more different than, say, Mario or Peach, right?
Yeah, he does. He's I mean, damn, that waist.
Yep.
I don't know. Hang on. Let me get it.
Yeah, I'll bring him out. I got a good head-on view here of him. But they show him also. There's other views where he's kind of flexing and standing up. Yeah.
Sorry, why have they picked that image?
Yeah. They should just have him T-posing. This is just him looking straight on, kind of hunched over as Donkey Kong. Okay, so I think the other thing here is that they want to make a big deal about Donkey Kong because they probably are going to do a Donkey Kong movie next. I think they said as much. I keep meaning to double check that, but people in chat can correct me if that's not the case. And then they got the ride coming out, and the rumor has been from somewhat reliable sources for the last couple of years that the Mario team is working on a Donkey Kong game next. So
that would be cool.
Yes.
So I totally get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it, but also this picture is really funny to me.
I also think that's something about Miyamoto coming out and being like, listen, we changed the characters. Something he's been somewhat resistant to in recent years. Because back in the day, you could just... there was no press announcement when Rare made Donkey Kong look different than he did on the side of the cabinet for the original Donkey Kong arcade cabinet. And so it's back then you could just change characters the way they looked, and that was normal. It was accepted that, different studios and different games would have different takes on what the characters looked like. And then at some point, Nintendo, canonized the looks of many of these characters. And since then, it seems like Miyamoto's been and that's what they need to look like. And any sort of deviation from that needs either a really good reason, or I'm probably just going to stop you from doing it altogether. So... him being I approve this, and this is kind of what he's going to look like now. I don't know. It feels like him still kind of getting really involved in that process and be okay, it's okay to change it now that I'm out here announcing it and saying that this is okay. It feels a bit weird to me, but it's probably in line with, okay, they are doing a game and a sequel, and this is what Donkey Kong's just going to look like from now on.
Do you think it's to do with the rise of... Maybe this is a role in game development that's always been there, but it just feels like these people have way more power these days. The rise of the brand manager.
Yeah, I mean, I think
Like
that
someone who is so like their entire job is just making sure that everything is right. Like,
yes,
there is a playbook, everything looks the same, everything is capitalized the same way, everything is stylized the same way. But it feels like even maybe 10 years ago, brand managers weren't as they weren't as important or as involved as they are now.
right. I think yes. I think that position kind of got created in or adopted in most creative industries in the last several decades, and now they have moved up and they're involved in the conversation right out of the gate.
Yeah.
And so
especially when, as you said, new game coming, new ride coming, there needs to be someone to make sure.
this is this the other Donkey Kong image that you were thinking of, the one where he's flexing,
Yes,
basically?
yes, absolutely.
Yes.
That was the one I was thinking of. Because
Yes.
that's the one where he looks much different.
Takadis
He looks way
Maximus in
more
chat
different.
says that's the centerfold, and it definitely feels like a Playgirl centerfold.
And Mr. August this year is Donkey Kong.
Hanging Donkey Kong. Yeah, he's just out there hanging Kong. Ooh.
He's got some barrels to show you.
Yes, that's he fucks, and he's even got the Chippendales tie ready to go.
Yeah.
I don't know what we're gonna do about this. This is I have to deal with this for sure.
Is this movie going to be suitable for kids?
I mean, who can? Probably not. Honestly, this Donkey Kong's going to be incredibly too horny for most people. So, all right, let's move on back here and get to the other part of this. The Super Mario Brothers movie coming out in April for the United States. Everyone else, it seems like, is getting it before that or significantly before that. So the Super Mario Brothers movie, this comes from Marie Delisandri at GamesIndustry.biz. The Super Mario Brothers movie will be releasing in several territories at the end of March, and that's ahead of a second wave of releases in the first week of April, which is when we'll be getting it, and again, we being in the United States. Universal Pictures confirmed yesterday that the upcoming Nintendo and Illumination movie will be releasing as early as March 22nd in Belgium. March 23rd, it will release in Switzerland before Austria and Sweden on March 24th, and France on March 29th.
I mean, okay, lot to dig into here. So how soon before that movie gets pirated? And
Yeah,
put
right?
online?
Is it-
That's really
so-
stupid.
Nintendo probably was not the like. This is Illumination saying this is the way it works in movies, and I bet Nintendo would be like, well, hey, we have some experience with
It doesn't
piracy.
have to.
Yeah.
It doesn't have to.
I think there's so much of that in the film industry where it's like, this is how it works, and then everyone goes, but why? And then there's no good answer. I bet they think they have a good answer, and I bet the answer is probably actually not that compelling. I'm sure.
I mean, is it to do with financial year?
I mean, probably not. No, because if it was
because
financial, you would
it's
want
not
it
even
before.
enough time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows when Illumination's fiscal year is? But I'm like, okay, Google, when is Easter 2023?
Oh,
okay,
March,
that's
right?
April. No, it's April 9th. So it's like, again, you're doing that's like, so it's Easter weekend is when this is coming out in the United States.
I'm a bad Catholic.
I mean, yeah. Listen, that's the best kind. And so I'm like, okay, so it's not it doesn't seem like it's a holiday thing. Maybe other movies are coming out. I'm sure other movies are coming out, but the Mario movie feels like the biggest movie coming out in the first half of next year in a lot of ways, at least in that early part of the summer. So
next year?
I bet they're looking at Disney's slate and working backward from that. But again, it just doesn't make a ton of sense. And you're right. I feel like we are going to see every frame of this posted on Twitter, and yeah, it'll get zapped, but I bet I'm going to see all the stuff on social media before it actually comes out, and that's not going to bother me too much. This is a fun adventure comedy animated film. I bet I have a good idea of how it's going to end and stuff, so I'm not that worried about spoilers, but it is going to get pirated for sure.
So looking at the release schedule, I didn't even know there was a new Ant-Man coming. Oh my, I'm not going to tell you, I'm not going to lie to you, being free from Marvel, it's the best feeling in the world.
Yeah, I have not seen. I've not seen the new Black Panther. I haven't even watched the new Thor yet, and I really cared about Marvel.
Don't watch the new Thor. That's the movie that broke me.
Yeah, I've heard. I think a lot of reactions like that would make me think I don't need to search it down. And then Andor like kind of took over at the same time. I'm like, I'll just get back into Star Wars. This is great. And so yeah, I've been good.
So March movies. John Wick Chapter 4, March 24th. Not exactly going to be competing.
No.
Dungeons and Dragons Honor Among Thieves. I thought that was coming out this year, but it's March 31st.
I
Not
didn't even. I
might
completely forgot about
compete
that.
a little bit, but not completely. Super Mario Brothers movie April 7th, and then Evil Dead Rise April 21st, and then Guardians of the Galaxy 3 May 5th. So it's
Yeah, I mean, again,
and maybe it's just because they have a spot, because like they have Quantumania, Ant-Man earlier in February, and then I guess post May. Oh, you know why? They're doing it to get out of the way of Fast X.
Oh, right.
May 19.
Honestly,
Little Mermaid, May 26th as well.
The franchise
so
that
maybe
is
that's just the...
fast approaching Mario in terms of global popularity. Fast and Furious, of course. So, yeah.
They've already been to space.
Yes, exactly.
Who knows where they're going to go? Are they going to go to the center of the fucking Earth?
The Mario movies just go in the Mushroom Kingdom. There's so many sequels before we get to space in this movie.
Oh, no. We're talking about Fast.
Yeah,
They've been to space.
Yeah, no, Vast has been to space. Mario's not even sniffing space yet. That's why they're afraid. They are truly afraid. Although
I think there was a reference to Galaxy in there, right? In that trailer.
Probably. Yeah, they might end up in space. Who knows? I would love the idea if it was the little spaceship you get into by pulling it out of the ground like a vegetable in Super Mario Brothers 2, and it shoots out. Just do that. Do that bit. I would love that a bit.
Do that. It would be very sweet.
Just do references to Mario in your Mario movie. That's the kind of advice you can get
money.
by watching Game Mess Mornings. All right, let's roll right along here to another Nintendo story. Nintendo is canceling the Smash World Tour. Organizers are accusing Panda Global of sabotage. This comes from James Batchelor at GamesIndustry.biz. The organizers of the Smash World Tour, which is a grassroots Super Smash Bros. Esports competition, says that Nintendo has shut down its next two events. It also alleges Panda Global, Nintendo's chosen partner for the official Super Smash Bros. Tournament, had a hand in the closure. And that's, again, alleged. Both the 2022 Smash World Tour Championship, which was due to run from December 9th to December 11th in San Antonio, Texas, and the 2023 Smash World Tour have been canceled. In a Medium post, the team said it's still working on the logistics to get people full refunds and to help people who made travel arrangements. The team claims it was told by Nintendo that the Smash World Tour could no longer operate and that the shutdown came without any warning. And apparently they were told the day before Thanksgiving for something that is happening in early December. So really kind of a rough situation here. They also claim the decision was especially shocking given the ongoing conversations and reassurances it had received from Nintendo over the past year. Now, this is going to affect hundreds of players and vendors and fans. However, the organizers do not entirely blame Nintendo. Instead, they claim that Panda Global had been telling potential partners that Smash World Tour was going to be shut down, and Smash World Tour says it approached Nintendo about Panda's attempted sabotage and was offered repeated assurances that the official partnership was not exclusive, with the platform holder adding that there was still opportunity for the grassroots tour to operate. So what seems to have happened here, at least what the organizers of Smash World Tour are alleging, is that Panda Global, this company that does have thought it had some sort of exclusive arrangement, but did not, with Smash Brothers and running tournaments, kept going to Nintendo and other partners and saying, we're not going to let this happen, we're not going to let this happen. That seems really weird and petty, but it also seems like they think that's what happened. I feel like trying to run a Smash Brothers tournament these days is a fraught business to be in regardless, because Nintendo is so skittish about these things. I almost don't necessarily fully blame Nintendo for that, because there's been so many horror stories coming out of the fighting game community and the Smash community specifically, where it's, there's instances of sexual assault and people being toxic and people trying to groom, underage people. Nintendo does not want to be associated with any of that. And so that's what caused these things to get shut down a few years back. And then it was kind of a little surprising to me that they were, okay, now we're working with another grassroots organization and letting this happen. But if Nintendo wasn't going to let this happen, probably should have told them before, a few weeks before. A little bit earlier. Yeah, it feels like Nintendo just sort of being a bit aloof and callous.
Or it's just, I don't know, maybe. And I'm not trying to make excuses for the multi-billion-dollar company. Mm-hmm. It just feels like maybe something came up that they were like, pull the plug. Yeah. The thing about this though is that how is the Splatoon stuff still going. That's stuff that Nintendo puts on, right? It's not.
Yeah, but that's that's esports or that's marketing as esports, and it's run by a Nintendo division that's probably does just come straight out of the marketing budget, and so they probably spend a lot of money to make sure it's clean and safe, and that's the number one factor, because the whole point is to promote Splatoon, not to foster some sort of profit generating league. And so, it's just, that's the big difference there. And then here, Nintendo's like, we do have a partner that's going to run something similar for us for Smash. And then these community leaders are trying to do the same thing. And maybe, yeah, we'll let you do it. And then suddenly, no. And you're right. Maybe something did come up. If it did, Nintendo should probably, if it's something they can legally talk about, they probably should talk about. But because
it feels like Nintendo would be. With regard to something like this, it feels like they would be an all or nothing. Like, they wouldn't let it. It feels like they would have been committed to it, and then something happened that has made them pull out.
Yeah.
Because it just, I don't think they would waste their time otherwise by going along with something that they intend to pull out of. And also,
go ahead.
The day before Thanksgiving, I wonder if that's just because a Japanese company doesn't.
Totally.
Don't care about Thanksgiving.
Right.
Like, regardless of if they have American teams or not, if the direction comes from Japan, it will.
And it seems like something for this would have done exactly that. That's exactly how it would have come down. Now, Kotaku did reach out to Nintendo, and a Nintendo spokesperson said, "Unfortunately, after continuous conversations with Smash World Tour and after giving the same deep consideration we applied to any potential partner, we were unable to come to an agreement with Smash World Tour for a full circuit in 2023. Nintendo did not request any changes to or cancellation of remaining events in 2022, including the 2022 championship event, considering the negative impacts on the players who were already planning to participate." So it's kind of confusing to me, because I'm not sure if that's even part of the same quote. Let me double check that. But the first part there is that Nintendo's like, hey, we just tried to come to a full agreement and we couldn't make that work. The Star Wars, I saw SW went straight to Star Wars.
Star Wars.
The Smash World Tour organizers, the Star Wars organizers are coming for it now. The Smash World Tour organizers said they requested to operate without a license, as it had previously, with the hopes of working directly with Nintendo again in 2024, adding, "We were told directly that those times were now over." So, it just sounds like that right there does sound like there is a licensee, and they are going to be doing this, and you are not going to be able to do anything because we are working with someone who's paying us, basically. It's weird. It's hard to wrap my mind around as someone who doesn't pay a lot of attention to the space. But the allegations continue to be that a small grassroots esports league was subsumed by some outer force that was able to get Nintendo's ear and take over the space, and that's rough, regardless of what happened there. All right, let's move on here. Uncharted roller coaster announced for Spain's biggest theme park. This comes from Eddie McHugh at GameSpot. The popular Uncharted video game series, known for taking fans on grand adventures, is now becoming a roller coaster. You going to go to Spain and get on this?
I've lost free movement in the EU, Jeff. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah, no problem. Absolutely. Gotta get your ass.
I'm sorry. No, I'm sorry. It's actually still very easy to go on holiday.
Please Brexit through the gift shop. There you go. That's the joke.
Fuck me. No, I am not really a roller coaster gal. Maybe it's because I had intense anxiety issues as a child. Maybe I just watched too much Final Destination. Who's to say?
All right, I'm calling in an expert. We'll see if he answers.
Oh.
Hello.
Hey, Mitch Tokoto, you are on Game Mess Mornings. You're at a theme park right now, right?
Yeah, hey, shut the hell up. Is Jan there?
No, Jan's not here. I got Lucy instead.
Oh, hi, Lucy. I saw a dog wearing Crocs, and I was very excited to tell Jan about it.
Oh, well, that is actually, listen, we are all excited to hear about it. So please post a picture, and I'll put it up here on the show so everyone can see.
I did not take a picture. It was another person's dog, and I was afraid.
You got to go at. Okay, well, listen, what good is this guy? All right, Mike, listen, you can redeem yourself. I'm going to read you something. Tell me what this means.
Okay.
The Uncharted roller coaster opening at Spain's biggest theme park is let's see, it's going to be a dark ride, and they said, which means it takes place inside, and it's going to use state-of-the-art technology. Mike, what's a dark ride?
A dark ride is basically just any kind of normie theme park ride, Like if you think about like Peter Pan's Flight, something like that. Just,
I'm always thinking of Peter Pan's Flight.
Space
so.
Mountain.
You're in a little vehicle, you're inside, and you're looking at scenes that replicate a movie. Now,
Wait, so is Space Mountain a dark ride?
no, that's just an indoor roller coaster. But what has been
it's in
popular
the dark.
these days is to combine something like that with dark ride elements, which is what we've been seeing with rides like Escape from Gringotts over at Universal, and most recently with this new Guardians of the Galaxy Cosmic Rewind attraction at Epcot. So sounds like they're going for a very similar thing there, where like sometimes the ride will kind of go by show scenes, it might even slow down for them, but then also sometimes it'll be more like a roller coaster.
And it says it's going to have like an epic pre-show. Does pre-show just mean a Q-tainment? Is it going to be a line with a lot of fun stuff happening?
Yeah, exactly. That's another thing is, doing stuff in the line that's kind of popular. Rise of Resistance does a lot of that, where like the attraction almost begins in the line with like pre-show elements, like, here's a robot talking to you about what you're going to do. So I assume that a Sully robot is going to like whip at you in the line for a while.
He's gonna whip a Nene. Actually, that's what I'm expecting.
Oh my God.
Yes, exactly.
All right, Mike. Thank you so much. Get back to your theme park, you weird pervert.
Thanks, Mitch.
We're going to go on Muppet Vision soon. I'm very excited.
Now I'm just jealous, actually.
I had 2 drinks at the cantina. It's the first time I drank this much before noon in a while. It's very exciting.
Okay, don't get arrested. Love you, dude. Bye.
Don't get arrested.
All right.
I thought he said Muppet Vision, and I was like, "What the? Where is he?"
That's something very different. That's yeah. I kind of had a general idea about dark rides because I listened to his '90s Disney podcast, and yet every time I still kind of forget the definition.
Yeah.
You weren't alone. Everyone in chat was also saying Space Mountain. Okay, so indoor ride that shows scenes is what he said.
So Indiana Jones,
right? So I think I've been on one of these. I went to Singapore, and there's a Universal at the resort we were staying at, and there's a Transformers ride there. And the way it works is you sit in a little car with like 4 to 6 other people, and it does kind of, it takes you forward. It does move, but then basically what happens is there's a bunch of big screens in front of you. And so it's still kind of shaking in like a 4D theater a little bit, or maybe it is moving slightly, but mostly it's kind of like whipping you to the side, and while the screen is whipping the other direction. And so it feels very almost like Star Tours, but Star Tours on crack cocaine, where it actually does move in a 3D position and stuff like that. And it was very entertaining, and I guess this is becoming this new standard. Now, I know he might have said something about like super dark rides, and honestly, I don't know the difference, but
I have no idea.
Yeah,
we're going to Disney actually after the Jeffs.
You are going? Oh, good. Okay,
I am
fantastic.
Going, yeah. So, not with Jeff and Dan, but like the FPS, the other podcast.
Right, yeah, totally.
The boys are all coming, so we are gonna do a nice little day out. A little group.
That's fine. You're gonna do all the Marvel stuff, I'm assuming, of course. Yeah.
Oh yeah, and Star. No, well, I have not done. So fun fact. I could have gone to the Star Wars land. What's it called?
Rise? No, it's Rise of the Resistance is the name of the ride. But wait, yeah. Beggar's Canyon. I'm not going to get there, everybody.
Whatever.
Chat's going to help eventually. But yeah.
Glup shitto. Well,
Glup shit. Galaxy's Edge.
Galaxy's Edge.
Thank
you.
Thank you.
So I could have gone the summer it opened because it was around. We were there for E3. And my friends were like, okay, well, we got you an entry. You have to come, but you still buy your ticket when you get there. And they were like, we have to be there at 8 a.m. And I was like, no. I have just worked E3. And that was, when E3 is not just the Thursday to whatever. It's the fucking week before as well. And I was like, I don't care.
Yeah.
And so I will meet you there at 11 and we will go do the main park because that's all I want to do.
Is in your crew, is there someone who's like pretty familiar with Disney? When you're going this week or next week or whatever the hell it is?
Jake.
Let's put you in contact with Mike as well. You can help out,
I was
make sure that you guys don't miss
I'll
out.
Mike. I've been watching. I love Defunct Land anyway. So I've seen a lot of videos about Disney, and I've been a few times. Like we would go after E3 every year. I haven't been since.
I just know it's changed in the last, like in the Chapek years. A lot of like the queuing has changed, and if you don't wake up first thing in the morning and do your reservations, So Mike, Jan, Jake, they can all make sure that you guys are on top of that. Because there is like apparently a trick to it these days. So don't you missing out? Yeah. an Uncharted. Okay, so here's the other thing about this Uncharted movie. Uncharted movie roller coaster. It is based on the movie explicitly instead of the game. So Marky Mark, okay. Tom Holland, that's who they're going to be referencing here. It does say, like, quote unquote, the globe-trotting adventure of the film. That's weird. Why do that?
That is weird. I mean, maybe Naughty Dog are just like, you know what? You worry about this one.
I guess so.
You worry about this one, Sony. We're gonna go to get those HBO bucks, okay?
These rides, they're super expensive to make. They last sometimes for decades. The film iconography of Uncharted will in no way outlast the video game, like, look and feel. This just feels like a poor investment, in my opinion.
I was putting together, so we're in the middle of doing all our best of the year stuff, and I was putting together my list of movies that I'd seen this year, and I went through the calendar, and I was like, oh, I didn't even know Uncharted was this year.
Yeah. I'm right
did
there.
Not
and
pass through.
Maybe we're not the right people, but, like, I feel the exact same way, where it's like, that thing is so forgettable to me. I forgot it even came out this year.
We're not the right people in terms of maybe the target audience, but in terms of, like, video game professionals, we should probably have thrown that.
That's how I refer to myself, by the way.
That's me too.
Game professional.
That's what my mom asks why I do. I'm just like, don't worry about it.
Red Dead Redemption 2 hit new peak players, and a Christmas update is adding more content. This comes from Luis Gutierrez at GameSpot. Red Dead Redemption 2 has broken its record of concurrent players 3 years after its PC release. In addition to a wave of new players, Rockstar will have new rewards, seasonal outfits, and more for a limited time. Thanks to SteamDB data, as discovered by Eurogamer, we know that on November 27th, there were 66,492 concurrent players on Red Dead Redemption 2 on Steam. That's better than its previous record, which Red Dead Redemption 2 had at its launch of 55,000 players, and that's back in 2019. So I'm kind of like at a point where I'm done saying that games are done. Like, anything can come back. Red Dead Redemption 2, obviously a big game, but it never felt like big in the way that GTA Online was going to carry that game to a continuous, perpetual success. And then you also got the signs that Rockstar was mostly done investing in Red Dead Online and Red Dead Redemption 2. So, sure, it might sell a lot going forward, but it's never going to be the thing that everyone's playing again in the way some live service games are. And nope, just dead fucking wrong. That's exactly what happened. Yep. And a lot of this is due because it was on sale, but games go on sale all the time. And that's not like the magic trick to bettering your launch numbers in the video game industry. That's not how it works. Most people still buy it on day one. And that's changed a lot in recent years, where we do see stuff like The Witcher 3 having its best year ever, even better than its launch year. And this game is obviously mimicking that, but still, I'm surprised. How about you?
I'm also surprised. For context, I love Red Dead 2. It's one of my favorite games. I actually really enjoyed Red Dead Online. I played a bunch of it. And it was it was more, I used it as sort of like a hangout place with some friends, rather than I'm gonna do every career. I'm gonna become a moonshiner. I'm gonna collect all this. I struggle to get into online games like that because I just
Sure.
I don't have time, right? But yeah. It's such a... Red Dead is very close to my heart, and so I was very sad when all the reports were like, oh, online's, they're not going to invest any more in it. It's kind of it. And then it's nice to see something like this where, at least more, like 15, 16K more than peak. That's launch day, sorry. That's pretty great. I hope it means it's a resurgence, but I say that as someone who has a fondness for it, not that I will go back to it.
Yeah. I suppose I should probably make sure that people... It came out on PC about a year after it came out on console, right? That's how it went with Red Dead Redemption.
Yes.
So it came out... Yes, it was 2018 game on console. So the 2019 PC launch probably wouldn't have been as high as had it come out at the same time on console. Still, though, even in those terms, you don't expect 3 years later for it to beat its launch day on PC record. People are pointing out it was especially cheap for a Rockstar game. Even still... People buy games and then don't play them. The idea that it is one thing to get someone to buy your game. The idea that many people are then booting it up, playing it all at the same time, it is rare. And this is one of the few times we've actually seen that happen.
Yeah, I mean, there's 104,000 people playing GTA 5 right now.
Yeah.
And the all-time peak is 364,500.
Just a completely other level for that game compared to most things. All right. Steam Deck is going to ship in Japan, Hong Kong, South Korea, and Taiwan next month. Valve confirmed this. You've been able to sort of, do the pre-order thing where you register as Steam Deck, and Valve is going to begin sending out those emails to say, okay, and now complete your transaction, and we will ship it to you December 17th. So those emails should be coming December 1st, or they will begin coming December 1st in those territories. So
just in time.
Yep.
For Christmas.
For annual holiday gift giving man.
Yeah.
Which is he lives on the moon in Japan, is what I hear.
Yep.
And then Final Fantasy 16 has been rated in Brazil, suggesting release news could come very soon. Chris Scullion at VGC had this one. I practiced this, so let's see if I can do it, Lucy.
Okay.
The Sistema de Classificação Indicativa Brasileiro. All right.
Pretty good to me.
Like a 7 out of 10, I think. Has determined that the game is not recommended for children under 16 due to sexual content, sensitivity issues, blah, blah, blah. While this rating doesn't necessarily mean the game is due to release soon, it does imply that Square Enix could be preparing to announce a definitive release date in the coming weeks. I'm at a point where this is a good sign for games these days, where we get the early ratings in a lot of other territories. To me, that means that the things are going as they should be, and that another delay is mostly unlikely. Not impossible, but mostly unlikely. And I'm hopeful. Are you hopeful that this game is coming soon?
I don't know why this game has such a chokehold on me.
You're not alone.
I'm very excited about Final Fantasy 16. I'm very excited. I think that's probably... After Dead Space Remake and after Resident Evil 4 Remake, this is, my most anticipated for next year.
There's a lot of big things.
Dead Island 2. No.
Yeah. A lot of people very much looking forward to this one. It looks like it's they're going for something with a strong voice, is what I've been able to gather from the trailer so far. And
it's Yoshi P.
And the way Yoshi P talks about it, yeah. Even with the misstep with the race stuff, it's like there's clearly still going to be a very fantastic game here. That happens with problematic stuff all the time. I think that this thing is going to come out and be the agreed upon best Final Fantasy in quite some time. Not counting Final Fantasy 14 for obvious reasons. If we're talking about non-MMOs,
best since 12.
Yeah,
which is my favorite.
And I think that I think it's gonna recapture some of that kind of magic where it's like this thing feels different and yet still Final Fantasy in a lot of key ways. And obviously all the Final Fantasies are different, but I mean 12 felt even more different. So I'm excited to see it myself. I'll give it a shot. I've never been a huge Final Fantasy guy, but something about this one does look like, it feels welcoming in that they're kind of just establishing this very enticing world. And we haven't heard a ton about it, but they have mostly kept to their promises of we'll talk about it before the end of the year, and they talked about it briefly, and then we got a lot more information a couple of times throughout this year. And now it's like, okay, so now we are approaching 2023 when they said it's going to come. They've made no indication that there will be another delay.
Yep.
It's getting rated. So I think it's time to get kind of excited that this thing's going to hit basically when they say it's going to, which still they just said 2023, but it always felt like summer, kind of at the latest. So
I'm trying to think when 15. I was 15 around like a September-y type thing.
It feels right. I can't remember anymore, but it felt like close to the holidays. It definitely wasn't a summer one, and I'm trying to remember if it was like a springtime, but
no, because I remember playing it at my mum's, so I would have been there for Christmas.
That makes sense. Yeah. Onikaze said could have swore they said summer 2023. I think they might have said that, but I think right now it's just a generalized 2023. But maybe I can't remember. Who
15
knows?
Was supposed to be September, then it got one last delay to November. That was the one.
Thank you, Marino. Excellent. Okay, you know what? We have the polls to get to, so let's go ahead and do that now. Oh, that's not right. That's wrong. Hang on, let me get to the right tab here. That's not right either. Oh my God, Mike, what are you doing there? That's just
what's happening?
It's vulgar. It's a Photoshop. So he had his Crocs up on the bed. The teeth put that. All right, let's get that off there before we get in trouble. All right, is Street Fighter 6 releasing by spring? Can't believe that, Mitch. 54.9% say yes. 45.1% said no. Absolutely disgraceful. I mean, honestly, I think spring was the right one to get as close to a 50-50 there, because I think it's everyone's pretty much agreed upon that it'll hit before Evo, which is summerish, I believe. And then so it's coming out, around that time or earlier. But it's like, will it come as early as spring? It's not coming this fiscal year, so it's not going to come March or earlier. But maybe April, maybe
April seems like
May.
a nice.
I think April could work.
Or maybe like a. Yeah, no, I think April, May would be nice. I'm just trying to think, because they're trying to push for E3 to be a big thing again next year, and Capcom are always there. Like, they always go all out.
Yeah.
And so I wonder if they would use that as like one last push, right? But maybe not. Maybe not.
Let's come. So the whole question I was going to ask for tomorrow is: are you okay with Chris Pratt's voice after the new trailer? Or is there another version of this question about like something that could include some of the other actors? Like, who do you think is doing the best job in the Mario trailer? Chris Pratt, Anna Taylor-Joy.
DK's redesign. Is he too hot?
Yeah. Well, you know what? I like that a lot. Let's see. Is the Donkey Kong redesign
nice sounding keyboard.
too hot? Yes, it's actually, I believe, for you are hearing the gamer browser.
I'm hearing the Discord version.
You're hearing the gamer browser. Yeah, I'll do it for chat now. Here, chat, you can hear this. Donkey Kong redesign too hot. Game mess mornings, and let's hit the yes, no. All right, we will answer that tomorrow. In the meantime, though, Lucy, what do you got going on? What's happening with you on Giant Bomb? Anything else you want to talk about?
Oh, bloody hell. Voicemail dump truck tomorrow, and I think I am going to be on UPF, but I do have an appointment at like 3:30. I'm sure we'll be done by then. It's only a 10-minute walk away. And then next week we'll have Jeff's Bizarre Adventure, because we are every other week. And we're going to the Jeffs. We will be on the ground at the Game Awards, and all of the associated stuff that goes on around there. I think that's all I'm doing this week. On the GameSpot side, I'm doing a lot of Game of the Year stuff. We had our deliberations, and now we're kind of prepping to do all that coverage, and it was a very fun time, actually, the deliberations this year. No one got mad.
Hell yeah.
No, we never do that anyway. It's just like, people speaking impassionately about things that they love. And so we'll be announcing that in the next couple of weeks, and then just prepping for Christmas coverage and holiday coverage.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting some of that stuff going for us, and getting some things made. So, and then I'm looking forward to taking a week off. Yes,
we have a meeting about the Giant Bomb one later today, which I'm very excited about.
Yes, and we things are in motion over there, and I'm pretty excited about to make happen for sure. I'll give you $100 if, as soon as Jeff Keighley comes on the stage, you just yell "Jeff" as loud as you can in the audience. All right?
Well, that's the thing. So I know I'm sat. If I'm sat, so because there's the main stage and then there's like the little side podium, and usually the press are kind of sat next to the little side podium. Yeah. So maybe I'll just go. Where does he do
it at? Where does he film it at? So the first time I did it, I went to the first time he did it in Las Vegas, when it was the Game Awards, not the Video Game Awards.
It's the Microsoft Theater, the old Nokia Theater.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Which is where, Nintendo used to do their E3 press conferences from. Yeah. And apparently all the public tickets have sold. So it's going to be a packed house.
Wow, that's actually pretty exciting. I am pretty jealous. I hope you guys have a really good time, though, and definitely enjoy yourself. And then I'll be listening. I can't wait to listen to the podcast you guys are going to record for Friends Per Second over there.
Oh yeah, we're doing it We're going somewhere to do it.
Okay,
I'll tell you when we're not live. It's very exciting.
Awesome, very cool. All right, today we are going to go into Eternal Darkness after Arcade Pit. I believe we have an Arcade Pit today, so tune in for all of that. And then I got that meeting later today. Now I'm just giving you guys my personal schedule. Let's wrap this up. Lucy, thank you so much for spending time with me today. Talk about video games. That was really great.
Of course, I love it.
Everybody, thank you for watching. You're the best audience in gaming. Until next time, have a good one. Take care of yourself, and goodbye.